It was unusually hot. Oh, hello. Alright. Who wants to know what it's like dating a stripper? Marrying one even. Or at least trying to. You? Would you like to know what it's like to have any woman that you want? And I say that as modestly as possible. Whatever you have an abundance of in life, you'll struggle with unless you have values. Now for most of you, that's food. We live in a society where you can get just about anything you want delivered to your fucking front door. And you can do that behind closed doors. Which is why most people are overweight, which is why I haven't been to the gym in 7 weeks. And people can't understand why I still look the way that I do. Because I have values and standards around that. And even though that I'm living at my lowest value and standard in regards to fitness health training, it's still higher than yours. And without having to do anything extra, I maintain how I look. But I also have a history of terrible relationships. Now, hopefully, well, honestly, this is not going to set me up well for the next one, but that's fine because these conversations need to be had because no one's having them. No one's talking about the issues in our society that are destroying both men and women. So I was at a seminar on the Gold Coast a few years back. Bunch of entrepreneurs, and at the end of it I was sitting by the pool with 2 gentlemen, both married, and I was bachelor me. So here I am sitting there thinking, marriage, fuck that, commitment, fuck that. But what you want will change depending on where you are in life, which is why it's important to have values and to stand by them by any means necessary. What do I mean by values? I don't eat cheeseburgers every fucking day. That's a pretty simple value. I don't eat cheeseburgers every day. You start simple. Because you'll be surprised once you start setting values and then the opportunity comes up, oh, I feel like a cheeseburger, and there's McDonald's. Oh yeah. You start to work out shit pretty quickly. But as I've experienced recently, if you don't stand by these values, you will pay the fucking price. So these 2 men are talking about their marriage. Both men cheated on their wife. But they had different values. One's value was tell the truth by any means necessary. And what had happened was he was on a business trip. He slept with someone else. And then when he came back, he had to live by his value. So I imagine what would have been a very difficult conversation. He said to his wife, this is what happened. They worked through it. Promise it'll never happen again. Now, you may judge this man, or you may think that you would never do that, or you may think that you would leave, and maybe you could, should, or would. But from what I see, their relationship is better than ever. And for someone to tell you not just the good, but the bad, it says a lot. Because the other gentleman who, same situation, marriage, business trip, sleeps with someone else, he actually caught an STD. And instead of telling his wife that he cheated, instead of telling his wife that he had a sexually transmitted disease, he told her that he brought her some protein powder or some kind of fitness supplement. And he put the medication for that STD in there until it had passed from him. Now, I don't know too much about his marriage now, but he has to live with that secret for the rest of his life. He have two men, both married, both respectable businessmen, both cheated. One told the truth, his marriage is better than ever. One lied, had an STD, and basically put the cure medication in his wife's coffee or something like that. Although both those situations aren't great, which one would you rather have? In this instant gratification, Tinder, swipe, DM world, women and men have more opportunity, more abundance to get laid, cheat, be dishonest in a number of different ways. It can be sending photos, talking to someone, I think he did. I mean, a number of different ways. So I'll give you an example of two, again, normal people. One of my previous mentors, he literally said this to a crowd, a group of people. He said that when I was building my business and I was obsessed with it, I came across Facebook messages that were blatantly obvious that my wife was about to have an affair with another man. Now, my value, if I saw that, I'd be done. But his wasn't. And from what I understand, his marriage and his business is better than ever. Not pleasant, but are you perfect? No one's perfect in this world. When you're with a partner, you have to address these issues. And more importantly, the relationship with yourself, you have to address these issues. That's what I do in the DFP. My sister, God bless her, her partner, something like 8 years, I don't like him. He knows that. I don't have him on social media and pretend to be friends. I don't like him. I don't like her. If you're watching this, you know that. And she came to me one day and she said, Dan, would a man message a girl at work on Facebook and possibly cheat? I said, yes, probably, depending on the situation. You're not talking about your partner, are you? She said, yeah. I opened Facebook and some very unpleasant messages on there with one of the girls at work. And as a man, I understand that. Like, he was bored in the relationship, he needs some excitement, whatever. Don't be in a relationship with my sister or I'll kill you. And that's what I said to him. But they talked about it, and from what I understand, relationship is better than ever. I mean, my hesitance towards marriage, having kids, a white picket fence, a normal life, I always thought it was just a convenience thing. Maybe you can share your opinion with me about having a relationship that is the highlight of your life, that makes everything worth it. I mean, a lot of men say to me their kids are the most important thing in their life. But what about the woman that brought those kids into the world? How's she still doing? I recently had a long-term relationship with an exotic dancer, a stripper. Something I never thought I'd do, because my value is one of them. Don't do that. Because as men, you probably understand that having her tits and butt out in front of other men, it didn't sit very well with me. But as I got to know her and as I developed a connection with her, I requested that that life stops. And it did for some time, until I violated one of her values in me with my... You may find this hard to believe. I can put the fear of God in people quite easily. Doesn't mean I hurt them physically, doesn't mean I do anything. I just make people very uncomfortable when I get angry. So that made her decide to go back into that life. And when she went back into that life for 2 months, and I rode my chopper across the country to mend what I had done, because at that time, and even now, maybe not with a stripper again, my value is to amend the errors that you have done, especially if it's with someone or something that you want. How else are you going to get it back? Or how else are you going to attain it? Or how else are you going to grow? Would I have done it again? Absolutely, because it took me to where I am now. A perspective through pain, mind you, if you watch yesterday's video, where I now have to set a new level of values so I don't find myself in this position ever again. Because once I started compromising on my values, it was a free-for-all. If there's no truth in you, there's no truth in anything else. Now, she told me that she was going to Ukraine to see her mother. I didn't like that, and I didn't want to really do that right now, but who am I to tell someone how to live? And it was also my understanding that she needed some space, whatever that means. If a woman says to you that she needs some space, it generally means she's going to go fuck a bunch of dudes, work out she still loves you, and then call you in about 2 months, FYI. Get me wrong? Maybe she was getting one too many DMs, private messages on Instagram from wealthy men now. Relatively handsome, as we may be able to agree on. I know what it's like. Instagram, Facebook, I'm approached by men and women all the fucking time. It's a simple message. And women that don't have values, or their highest value is money, or their highest value is finding the best deal that they can, it's only ever a message away. Which is why it's very important time in society to set your values at 1, an incredibly high standard, and 2, live by them. So she says, I'm on a flight tonight. And I said to her, you know, my value is if you leave, don't come back. And she says to me, maybe you should question your values a little bit. Maybe you should change that, because what if I want you? What if I want to come back? So I entertained the idea. I said, yeah, sure. We'll see what happens. Once you compromise on your own values, you compromise on you, your self-esteem, your self-respect, your identity, your truth is all reduced, which is a very dangerous way to live if you want anything worth having in this life. Because once I compromised on that value, I saw my cards were being run in a place that was not Ukraine, and in fact, she was not coming back. Now you have a choice. Now if this was you, you might think, Dan, I wouldn't be stupid enough to get involved with a stripper. Dan, I wouldn't be crazy enough to do the things that you do. But just like you and your inability to not eat cheeseburgers or not drink too much on the weekend, when you have women throwing themselves at you 24/7, and you want connection, you want a relationship, you want love, she seemed like the right choice, and I committed to it by any means necessary. Because just like my training and my business, if I commit to something, it's by any means necessary. That doesn't mean that it works. That doesn't mean that it's fun. That doesn't mean that it's easy. In fact, sometimes it's the opposite. But more often than not, you get exactly what you want, which is fun, enjoyable, better than what you could ever imagine. Or whether it be a relationship, a business, a training program, if you fail at it spectacularly, it hurts. Pain is there to teach you something. It's not there to break you. It's not there to push you further into that self-made hell. It's there to show you something needs to change. And I simply mentally disconnected from the person who I thought was my best friend, the person who I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with, and the person I thought I could trust, and thought, okay, that's them. And then I take that pain that I've received as a gift, and I put it into my business. Or I break this 7-week cycle of not being in the gym, and I get back in there. And I train harder than ever before. And by that simple process of living by your values, living in the truth, correcting the errors, and using pain from either the guilt from your own fuck-ups or being fucked over, you can take yourself to places that you'll never imagine. This isn't just a woman thing, this isn't just a stripper thing, this isn't just an attractive girl thing. If your woman is 6 or over, ask her if you can read her Instagram inbox. Not because you want to judge her, not because you want to question her, not because you want to trust her. Just look at her reaction. Because if there is love there, if there is trust there, if there is truth there, and you ask that question, there shouldn't be anger. There shouldn't be a sense of betrayal. Maybe even a laugh. It should tell you, yeah, guys hit on me all the time. Guys DM me all the time. It's not about making someone live by your values, live by your truth, live by your rules. It's about living by your own values, your own truth. Because if there's no truth in you, there's no truth in anything else. And if, whether it's business, a relationship, anything, the person does the wrong thing, you can stand by your values because you've learned to do this time and time and time again. The same way you discipline yourself with not eating fucking cheeseburgers every day, if that's your problem. But if, like me, recently, with this love, with this connection that I had, if you compromise on your values, you'll eventually pay the price. Is that a price worth paying? I don't know. It's up to you. It's your life. You can do what you want with it. I'm Dan Fitz, a street preacher. I hope you appreciated my realness and my honesty. This chapter in my life has not been easy to live or to share, but there's not too many men I've heard speak this way or put this information out on the internet. So I hope it serves you well. I hope it finds you at the right time. And more importantly, I hope it saves you a fuckload of pain. Yeah, I'm a tough motherfucker. And this is hard. God bless. Godspeed.